Hello guys, it's JohnnyTime and welcome to another amazing Web3 security interview. Today we have a super special guest, one of the oldest OGs in Code4rena. He is a Warden and he is also a lookout. And you probably know him. His nickname is SorryNotSorry. Now, the thing with SorryNotSorry that his journey and his story is super unique. He doesn't come from a technical background. He used to be a ship captain and he has so many cool and interesting stories that will help you boost or start your Web3 security career. And this interview is the proof that you don't need to come from a tech background, from a heavy tech background in order to become a smart contract security researcher and auditor. So we're gonna share so many tips of behind the scenes from a lookout and a warden, known warden in Code4rena, and it's going to be full of insightful tips. I'm super excited. So without further ado, let's get started. So sorry, not sorry. Welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you here. How are you?
Thank you very much, Johnny. It's really good to be here. I'm doing perfect. How about you, man?
I'm great. Thank you so much. And today's interview is going to be super interesting. We're going to ask you questions and hear about your story. And it's going to bring so much value to the listeners because you're pretty OG in Code4rena. So you can share so many tips, both from the warden side and from the lookout side. And you're also inspiration for a lot of people because you don't come from a tech heavy background. You used to be a ship captain, right? So can you tell us a bit more about your journey? Like maybe start from how you shifted from non-technical background. Tell us a bit about your non-technical background, what you used to do, and how you shifted to programming and eventually, along the way to Web3 security.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for the kindness words, man. And I hope our interview today will suffice to the new beginners, which I like actually. That was a long journey for me because coding or being in the tech industry was one of my dreams actually when I was 18, 19 years old. But I didn't do that one. I was thinking, okay, I will go just sail on board the vessels and I will free or something, or just stupid thoughts, sailing around the oceans should make me feel, free or something. That's a kind of false perception. So I did that one and I regret every year, I can say. So I had in mind to just jump in the sector, just jump in the rabbit hole. And in 2019, when I was like 37 years old, I did that one. Just opened a YouTube video regarding about a Python video, and I just typed my name, and it continued. And I continued to self-learning like for 6 months or so. And during this 2020 pandemic, I was locked at home. Like I couldn't go on board like 10 months. And when I go on board also, I couldn't just get repatriated. Another 10 months I was on board the ship. I was locked. And during that time, I utilized my time to learn Python and to learn, to read many things like JavaScript or, just Flutter, Dart, everything. And finally, I found myself learning Solidity in late 2021.
Wow, this is super cool. So during COVID lockdowns, you were invited to be a ship captain of a ship for a few months?
Yeah, every company was struggling to get people on board and get people off board. So I couldn't get on board, so I was locked home. And when I went on board, I was locked on board another 10 months. I could, because
wow, 10 months you spent on a boat.
It's kind of fun. It's if you learn how to make fun. Yeah, it's not fun at all for everyone. And wow. No any country accepts any, seafarers coming to their, countries in this situation. Yeah. I understand that one as well.
And you used to be a ship captain, which means that you're responsible for the ship. You're like running the ship. How does it work?
Yeah, I was a ship captain. Like I used to sail on board like 17 years, especially on very large crude carriers, which you can see on the Discovery Channel under name Mighty Vessels, Mighty Ships. So if one would like to be a captain of those, you should at least be working like 17, 15 years very hard, because it's difficult to be one, because it's very, very large. And the responsibility is suicidal, I can say. I mean,
Suicide.
Suicidal, because you're taking care of the vessel, taking care of the people on board, taking care of the cargo, and actually you don't have any control, I can say, because it's like 500,000 tons of mass when it was fully loaded, and there is no power
It's a lot of
on the planet
responsibility.
to stop it. Yeah, you should know exactly what to do and what not to do.
That's crazy. It sounds actually fun, but a lot of responsibility, which some people like it, some people might not like it. And meanwhile, you were on the boat, you learned JavaScript and Python. The people on the boat didn't know that their ship captain is on one hand riding the ship and in the other one riding Python. It's cool.
People were just asking me Excel things, because I knew Python. It's kind of, absurd, but okay.
And this was around 2020, right?
Yeah, it was 2020, 2021, about 2 years.
Wow, interesting. So you wanted to shift your career from the sea, from ship to coding to tech background. What was your motivation to change? Is it something that was interesting for you? You saw the high salaries. Like, what was your main motivation?
Okay, my main motivation was like I had a big hole in me, because I had a big regret, actually. So I didn't accept the position where I was, and that position to obtain that position, I worked like 18, 17 years, 20 years maybe with the university. And I didn't look back, I just, in 2021, August 1, I just, was off board. I just, signed off and didn't look back, so that I said, okay, I will just learn coding and try to learn something, especially in Web3 area, because I was excited. I was very excited to see all this, tech on Ethereum network. So that was a huge step for me, actually, and I didn't regret so far, I can say.
It's very inspiring, because I get so many questions from people that are not coming from tech background. Some of them are personal trainers or bartenders and stuff, and they want to get into cybersecurity and coding. And, I'm always skeptical, because some people want to come for the money, which makes sense, and it's okay, definitely okay, because IT and cybersecurity and programming is something that really compensating, compared to other jobs. But if you come only for the money and you're not excited about the technology, about what you can build with it, about the journey, the learning journey, you will not make it. And I think that what helped you, correct me if I'm wrong, what helped you to make it is because you didn't look only at the money or the salaries that you're going to get, but you already were excited. You were also excited by learning new stuff, by trying new stuff, by writing scripts in Python, by running them, and oh, this is cool. Oh, I learned to do this. Oh, I learned to do that. Correct me if I'm wrong. How was it?
You're absolutely right. Yeah, that's the satisfaction. That's the feeling that kept me, here, not on board.
So, do you have any tips for people that don't come from tech background, things that helped you to get started, actually?
Yeah,
or keep
absolutely.
you motivated, keep pushing the motivation, Yeah.
Motivation is the top most important thing, and we are prone to be demoralized for every instance, because what we are not competing with, what we are encountering with the people who are super smart, who are super experienced, and they knew everything. And first of all, you need to understand the jargon, the vocabulary of this space, and in order to do that one, you need to really just read many things without understanding that one. That was my case. I was receiving Quorum or Quora and Medium emails like, okay, so not sorry, this is your 10 topics for you today to read. And I was reading all of them every night, relentlessly. And I came to a place like, okay, I can understand this, but I did not know what was inside those. I mean, I did not know what is the background, the tech. So the main thing is that you should not lose your enthusiasm, and you should be really curious about clicking every link. And it's time consuming. Yes, I agree, but it will take you a place like where you can increase your you can build your self awareness in the tech. So you can understand whether you would like to be a web developer or backend developer, or you want to be a security researcher, or I don't know, you want to be an embedded system engineer. I don't know. There are many varieties, So once I did that one, I said, okay, I don't want to do anything with the Python. I want to make a mobile application or something. And
Oh,
I
really?
just stepped into Flutter and I did some couple of things out there. But since, things are getting improving, you will just change your interest to other places, which happened to me as well. So I just shift to Web3.
This is cool. So you need to find also your niche that is more interesting for you in Web3 to keep the enthusiasm and motivation and not to give up. Don't ever go only for the money. It's a lose game, you're already gonna lose. You need to find something that excites you. If it's like building mobile applications, if it's like blockchain, if it's like cybersecurity, or maybe automation with Python, something that really excites you, and that's what helps you stick around. Now, you read only articles, or you did also some practical exercises? Did you utilize any resources how did you learn actually?
Yeah, I did practical things, especially on Python. So during this pandemic, I was writing scripts just to, show me some, not the scripts, but I was doing Python and Flutter together to provide me the IMDb score of a movie that I'm watching on Netflix. So I was making some parsing on the, IMDb website through my mobile, utilizing Google Vision Pack. Yeah, that one. That was, I believe. And yeah, I have a hands-on experience, but limited. I cannot say I'm a, fully efficient developer or something. But you should make your hands dirty if you not only, coding, reading the code is useful. So I had that one, I can say, but not so long. So, and this was my first experience with the coding, making a mobile application, my first ever buggy code, which works a little bit, but mostly giving me false positives. And the second one was like during this 2020, the late 2020, I can say, I built a tool just to watch the liquidity providers on Uniswap V2, so that in case the pool creator starts a rug pulling, I was just monitoring how much gas they were sending so that I can front run them. And later on, I made a Telegram channel, which is a paid partner, it was a paid Telegram channel actually. So that I was just sharing this data to the people. So that's how I made my first money on Web3 and in coding as well.
This is cool. We'll get later to Web3 and crypto. But yeah, this is another actually tip. So if you're learning Python, for example, Python is great for automation. So start writing scripts that are going to help you in your day-to-day life, right? So if you're using WhatsApp and you want to automate something in WhatsApp, you can do that with Python. You can also use Selenium to automate stuff in the browser, to scrape data, to download data from the web, or automate processes, write bots. So this is super cool with Python. And it's another tip, like find something that you like or something that might help you and create a bot for that in Python. Or I don't know, if you are developing an app, develop an app that will help you, that you will use or your friends will use. So this is interesting also to keep you motivated.
Yeah, it keeps you motivated. You have to feel some fun. You have to make it fun.
Exactly. Now let's talk a bit about crypto and Bitcoin. Before you actually started getting into Web3 and Uniswap, you actually heard about Bitcoin in 2010 and you kind of missed out on Bitcoin. You want to tell us a bit about the story?
Yeah, I am one of those naive guys. Actually, I would be the perfect guy because if in case you buy Bitcoin in 2010, 2011, you will sell it anyway because it's like quadruple or 10 times more. So nobody can dream like, okay, if I had kept those Bitcoins, I would be like billions of dollars worth of guy. That wouldn't be working on people's. But in my case, it might be working because I did not have internet connection on board. And if I had Bitcoins, I would definitely forced to keep those. Yeah, forced to keep those because I have no choice, man. I wouldn't be even aware of the price of the Bitcoin that time. So in 2010, I saw one article regarding Bitcoin, the future money, digitalization. I said this is interesting because that time I was doing some kind of domain brokerage, this domain names, website domains. I was just buying, 4-letter domains and selling those and cedo.coms, and I was making some kind of money when I was on board. So that's why that was kind of passion for me, that I was having like 1,000 domains and I was the owner, and I just, I was paying like tens of thousands of dollars to those domains, and just in return I was taking maybe double size, something like that. And
but someone would actually buy those domains. You would make profit on them.
You can just auction them on Cedo, selldomains.com, cedo.com.
Yeah, I know. But people bought it. You made profit.
Yeah, I made it.
Wow, this is cool. So you are like entrepreneur kind of internet guy. You always make your ways around to. I mean, from a ship captain, you became like an internet guy, and you thought of businesses or ways to make money online, which is super cool. Yeah. It reminds me of myself a bit.
Yeah, only that I need to, just get rid of what I was doing on boards. I did it very light. So anyway, I logged into bitcoin.org and I saw the thing was coming, and I said, okay, I need to buy this, but later. So later was like one year later, and I just checked the price. I said, oh, it's already very high. I will not buy this.
2011, 2012?
Yeah. Again, the 2012. Oh my, it's skyrocketed now. I will not buy it. No way. And every year I was checking, and every year I was doing this nonsense. Yeah. And one day this, Bitfinex hack occurred, and the price went down very terribly.
You mean empty Gox hack, right?
No, but after that one.
There was another one with Bitfinex. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
There were a lot of
say, okay, I was right. So I will not buy. But at 2017, I just said, okay, I will buy it anyways. And I just bought my first Bitcoin in 2017 around May, like $1,500.
This is cool. So it's a bit, I don't know how you actually, if you were disappointed, but it seems like you kind of you were on the fence. But I think a lot of people might heard about Bitcoin but never bought because it's a bit scary, and also it's a bit technical process, especially back then. Today it's much easier to get crypto and Bitcoin, but back then, you need maybe to meet people and do kind of peer-to-peer deal, and also you don't understand like how you hold it and how you store it. So I get why you didn't take the leap step forward. In my case, I was mining them. So I researched a bit and I got a GPU, and this is how I got my first Bitcoins. But it's a different story for another time. And then it's an interesting story because my GPU was too strong and my motherboard just got burned, and I sold my GPU and I stopped mining Bitcoins. But it's a long story, a different story, but it's a cool story. And in 2017, you bought your first Bitcoin, and in 2018, you started actually to trading some tokens, right? Before you got into Uniswap and such. So did you have any gains? What kind of trading strategies did you use? What kind of tokens did you buy? Also in 2017, there wasn't DeFi. The Ethereum just started smart contracts. I mean, Ethereum started before, but it wasn't a thing to buy tokens. So how did you actually trade different currencies, and if you made profits?
Yeah, exactly. There was no DeFi. So we were bound to centralized exchanges like Bittrex and end of 2017 Binance. And even Poloniex, I was first started there, and I did not have any strategy actually, and I was buying a coin with just seeing the things going up in crypto Twitter. I was buying those and dumping those, and later on I just learned that game, like if you shield your pocket, if you shield your basket, then you can just dump on people. That's the thing. So whenever I see some influencer just buying something, I was doing that one. I kind of found what people were buying just without being, in a private groups or something.
How did you find it though? It wasn't open on the blockchain. It was in centralized exchanges. Yeah. So how did you know when they buy something?
I was catching, this Twitter communications time to time, which they were, I don't know, by the purpose or by some mistake, I was catching the Twitter mentions, and I was buying those, and I made a huge profit on that one, really. And unlucky enough, I couldn't take that huge profit because my account was locked. This is the era of centralized exchanges. And 1 month later, it was really again reopened. But that time it was already done. My back was already dumped, and I took okay, I took great profit over there, but not exactly as I was imagining. It was close to 7 figures, so I couldn't do it. But anyways, I took out some 6 figures. Yeah, I made some funds there, and I used these funds for my later business, I can say.
For the later business, which was what?
I just opened one second-hand car sale platform. It utilizes NFTs so that you can escrow your car, escrow your money, so that nobody can hijack it until either the car or the money. So I just utilized all my funds, I can say, to that system. I had developers, many. I had many supporters. I made many jobs there, but it didn't work out, because when you talk about NFT, even now you're talking about something not existing, but might have value in case you paid for that one. So that time in 2018, nobody knows that one. I mean, even, this OpenSea was 2018. It was not so popular.
Yeah. So I went crypto adoption was, crypto adoption was not that popular. Today it's a bit more popular, but still a lot of people do not know how to use it and are a bit skeptical towards crypto and NFTs.
Yeah, I agree. Still the same, actually. You cannot see many people, utilizing crypto. Okay, they know it. Maybe they kind of regret not buying it. They know it, but they're not utilizing it anyway.
Yeah, indeed. And you are, by the way, from Turkey. So how popular crypto in Turkey? I know that the currency, the Turkish lira, is suffering from some volatility. And I know that people tend to go to cryptocurrencies in Turkey, USDT, Tron, Bitcoin. So can you tell us a bit about the situation in crypto in Turkey? Can you use it? Can you buy stuff with crypto? Can you exchange it for cash? How does it work?
Yeah, okay. You cannot use it, actually, because there is a big censorship on using those cryptocurrencies in Turkey.
In a lot of states.
I can understand why, but no problem. People are using Bitcoin or the crypto just to save their financial gains. I mean, you cannot bound to the fiat money, especially the local one, Turkish lira. If you are bound to that one, you can be doomed to later on to that. Just
the inflation is quite crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So people are using that one, and not only that one, people are really making trades, but on centralized exchanges, I can say.
I just checked the Turkish lira inflation rate, 65%. Imagine you deposit $100. The next year you have $35 in 1 year. This is crazy. So would you say that most people in Turkey, they probably use crypto? They kind of convert their cash, their salaries to crypto?
They do. I know many people. I mean, even the local shops doing that one. The old guys started with that one. They're doing that one just to keep their money, like the thing that happened in Venezuela or in Brazil.
This is crazy, man. This is adoption. I know it sounds like it comes from the bad part, but actually, where something bad happens, we have better solution. People are trying to use better solution, and this is crypto. This is better solution. It's a way to save your money. It's a way to transfer your money easily, uncensored. And you see where there are problems, people are using it, and it solves their problems. It's amazing. And I don't know what will happen in the world, but it seems like inflation and recession and all these kind of things, people will start using more and more crypto. And so everyone that is saying what are the reasons for the next bull market, apart from ETF and halving and all these kind of things, is like adoption, because more and more people will adopt crypto, in my opinion. Like in Turkey, they have no choice. If they don't adopt crypto, they lose 65% of their money every year. This is insane. And, in the US, it's, I don't know, around 8% or 7% of inflation. It's still a lot. And so they move to assets that are not infinitely printed, like dollar or Turkish lira, but Bitcoin or Ethereum. I don't know. It just seems like it meant to happen. It should happen in the future.
It should happen. It should happen, actually.
Yeah. So we got a bit out of scope, but it's just an interesting conversation. So hope you don't mind.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay. So in 2019, we are jumping a bit off the timeline. You first started coding like Python scripts and then mobile apps, but at some point you shifted into blockchain development and the NFT project, the escrow that you just mentioned. So can you tell us a bit about this shift of like how you shifted from traditional development to Web3 development?
This 2018 was the year for me. Like, I paid lots of money to the developers, so I knew that these Web3 developers are having nice, money, I can say, nice gains. So in 2019, when I was doing this, when I first started coding, my coding experience,
you coded later, right?
I didn't
in 2020.
Yeah, I coded like 19 and 20. We can say, 20.
So you first started with crypto. When you started with crypto, you didn't know how to code. You just knew how to buy Bitcoin, how to trade. And then you saw, there is this coding thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry,
exactly.
Go ahead.
Exactly. Even 2018, I did not know how to code, but I had that NFT project. Kind of crazy. I mean, I knew what to do, but I don't know how to do. So you should really have some fun to that one. So that time, that games helped me a lot. And in 2020, when I started this coding things, I didn't mind the money. I motivated by only the feelings. And once there was a point, like I had a friend, Vishnu. Vishnu told me that, if DeFi thing happened, you should visit Uniswap. What is Uniswap? You should connect your wallet. What is wallet, Vishnu? And this was early 2020. It's really late for Uniswap because it was end of 2018 when they released the chip.
I remember exactly the same, but I just had a different friend who told me, wow, you never heard about Uniswap? It's crazy. You can collect your MetaMask wallet and then you just send one token and you get another token. And it was mind-blowing for me. In 2020, I was like, what? Wait, without account, without KYC, username, password? It was like, it's with smart contracts. And I was like, whoa. First use case for smart contracts on Ethereum.
Yeah, exactly. In 2017, we know something was coming like Kyberswap or I don't know, Komodo. They were just marketing their shit thing. And Uniswap was not was nowhere actually in 2017. I never heard about that one. So once Vishnu told me that, I just visited Uniswap. I said, this is brilliant. This is a new era. I did not know what I did. I just sit in front of the screen. I was checking. Really? That far? Oh, this graph belongs to. Is it real decentralized? How can be the website decentralized? How do they do this?
Yeah,
do they do
a lot of question marks
domain thing
pops up?
Yeah, it can. I mean, there should be someone behind that one. Yeah, that someone appeared to be the Ethereum network. That time I understand, of course. And by this motivation, I just said, okay, I need to learn Ethereum. So by trading, I came to know anyways, because lots of, rug pulling incidents. Okay, how. So how this happens. So what is the LP token? What is, that formula, just for the AMM formula. And by understanding these things, I said, okay, I will be more active on this one because this is the feature. Maybe this is my feature. So I just try to see what I can do with Python in this Web3 ecosystem and
automation.
Web3 Pi package. Yeah, with the Web3 Pi package was helping me that time. I found it and I loved it instantly.
So you basically, it was kind of the same time. You started learning coding and Python in 2019, 2020, and then you saw Uniswap and you thought how you can use Python to automate stuff in Uniswap. And it's incredible. You're kind of a self-learner. So you learn yourself how Uniswap works just from your curiosity, from your excitement. You were super excited of like, wow, there is something new. I want to understand how it works. And then you probably learn about the AMM and liquidity pools and liquidity providers and token A and token B. And you're like, oh, let's connect it with Python. So yeah, a lot of things that you're saying, it resembles myself. It reminds me of myself. Like curiosity and self-learning. And it's a skill that is very, very important, I think, to succeed in the internet in general and in IT career, in programming, in development. Because if you're not excited and if you're not curious about new things and about technical things that happen, then again, you're not going to make it. But I don't want to put people down. Just try to find this excitement somewhere.
Yeah, just try. Yeah, correct.
So you use Web3 Pi, right, to write some kind of automations on top of Uniswap. Can you tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah. Since we were suffering on rug pulls, I decided to make a tool which monitors the first pool creator, which monitors the pool creator transactions in the mempool, so that in case he initiates a rock, it just notifies me. And I was, I had my wallet already set up, so it was my wallet was withdrawing all my stuff, so I was front running the rock pool actually. So it was
How did you front run the rug pool though? If he already you were monitoring the mempool, right, to see if he's withdrawing the liquidity. And how did you front run him?
Just send more gas, and you can do that one.
Interesting. So you were investing in tokens, and some of them were rug pools, and you had a need. How do I detect rug pools? For people who don't know, the way that Uniswap works, you have someone that adds liquidity of 2 tokens. So let's say there is Shiba Inu token. So it adds liquidity with Shiba Inu and USDC, or Shiba Inu with ETH. And it's a new token that you want to invest in. But the one who added the liquidity, the most of the liquidity, he has a lot of powers, because if he just withdraws this liquidity, then it doesn't matter if you have these tokens, you don't have anyone to sell it to, because all the liquidity was there, and it just drained all the liquidity that he had at it in the beginning. He shows like, oh, wow, I added $300,000 of liquidity. It's legit. But then people buy the token. The more liquidity is being added, and it's just withdrawing it and stealing all the money from the people. And you are now stuck with useless tokens. And SorryNotSorry wanted to detect it, right? So he wrote a Python bot that basically checks the account that added the liquidity, that can remove it. And when he detect the remove liquidity transaction in the mempool, he send the higher transaction one with higher gas fees to sell the tokens before all the liquidity is being drained. And this is genius, man. It's like, it requires a lot of understanding of how Uniswap, how liquidity works, and then combining the Python skills. This is super cool.
It was super cool, but there were some kind of, occurrences where the liquidity provider actually transferred the LP token, so I couldn't monitor that one. That was a lesson learned then, actually. And I was just, there was no slippage. I was just swapping all the tokens. I was losing time to time, but not all my money. So that just gave me some kind of inspiration. Look, I can do better. So I did better, actually, those days. But I was naive enough, I could be one of the first MeBot, operators. I didn't do that, man. I mean, I should have thought like, okay, now people are buying the token, I should be buying before them and selling on them. I didn't do that, man. I don't know. Maybe because of my, good human instincts. I don't know. I never thought about that one. Until I joined Code4rena, I didn't know that something could happen, really. I didn't think about it.
I didn't know what is sandwich attacks and MEV. I will tell you how I found out about sandwich attacks and MEV. Basically, I was just using like yourself, Uniswap and PancakeSwap and SushiSwap, and there was this always slippage tolerance parameter, which I never understood. And I put high slippage tolerance, and sometimes even I didn't put any slippage tolerance. I put it on maximum, and then I see that I sent few thousands of dollars and I get almost 0 tokens. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? And then I looked at the blockchain, I saw the transaction, I saw that there is a bot that sandwiched me. He has a transaction, this is my transaction in the middle, and he has one transaction before and one transaction after. Buy before me, sell after me. So he buys, I lift the price up, and then he sell on me. This is sandwich attack. And then I was mind blown, like, whoa, this is crazy, these kind of things that happen in blockchain. And people make tons of money on top of other people by sandwiching them and front running them. And then I understood what is slippage. I created a YouTube video about it, so other people will know how important is slippage tolerance and what is front running. And so I got this like kind of, I learned my lesson through pain. I lost money. And how come you did? Because when you interact with Uniswap, probably through Python, you have to supply the minimum amount out. So how did you know what minimum out to supply? If you supply 0, you will lose money, right?
I was just counting everything. I was just not counting. What is the word? Calculating everything. Calculating.
From the library.
Because I was deep in Uniswap docs, so I was checking everything. Or swap it with no token, no fee, something. Swap all the token. Swap actions I was checking. And even the price check, I was checking the price by the pool and also by the graph. That time I didn't know how the price was, introduced to the front end. So I made a backtrace of the network, and I discovered the graph. So when I see the graph, I said, okay, this is brilliant. So there was only one graph. That was Uniswap graph, and I was using their package as well. Even the username was the same. So I was just checking, taking the price from there.
Makes sense. Super cool. So you also utilize Graph API, the Graph, which index blockchain data,
Yes.
index in a decentralized way data from the blockchain, which is amazing. Wow. And then you decided also, you use it first, this tool for yourself to avoid rug pullers, but then you also open it and monetize it as a Telegram channel. So how did you monetize it? What kind of service did you sell?
I was selling like the Uniswap token tracker. So in case any tokens are added to Uniswap V1 or V2, I was just posting it. I mean, my tool was posting it on the channel so that people, you should be the first one to buy it actually to make gains. So that was the game that time. I mean, there might be some good tokens that time, really, not now maybe. And if the token creator initiates a rug pull, you will be notified anyway. So just be on the screen so that you make your MetaMask ready. So just be on the guess.
It might be too late though. Might be too late.
It depends on the VPS actually. So I tried to be the more fastest, fastest VPS. Tried to hire the most AWS or DigitalOcean. There was one more I forgot. So I tried to do that one, and I was selling membership manually because I did not know how to make a website or a payment channel. So it was like half ETH per month, corresponding to $100 that time. And I was having like 300 people or something like that. Okay, later on it dropped, and I stopped also making this service. I didn't provide any service anymore. And last month I sold the channel to one guy. I don't know.
Wow. So you used to make subscription 150 ETH per month because 0.5 ETH multiplied by 300 people. I hope you didn't sell this ETH. I hope you didn't sell this ETH.
I lost all, man. This is because this is like gambling. Okay, I have this ETH. Now let's go to Uniswap.
Let's gamble. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go to Uniswap. Let's buy tokens to do 100x, So it happens a lot to people. They make good gains in crypto, and then it's the easy come, easy go, right? So if you make money too easy, it usually goes. And also for me, I suffered from a lot of losses in crypto. I talked about it in other videos and interviews. I was in the Terra. Nothing too fancy. I didn't gamble on the Terra token price like everyone did. I just held UST staked in Anchor and Miro protocol, and it's gone. And other hacked protocols, I staked provided liquidity, and did other poor decisions that made me lose money, And it happens to everyone. And actually, if you think about it, you cannot make money if you don't lose money. I mean, if we wouldn't have this kind of risk tolerance within us, we wouldn't even get into crypto. So it's not kind of unhealthy risk tolerance because we are still able to keep some of this money. But it's okay to take risks in investments, in career choices, because if we don't do it, you would continue to be a ship captain, which is okay. To be a ship captain all your life, I would probably have a day job. I would never do all the things that the amazing things that I did, the adventures that I went through, which it's like a huge list of things. I could just be, a hired day job developer or cybersecurity engineer in some company. And it wouldn't be interesting. So because we take risks, both in our life decisions and in investments, we also get opportunities that people that without any risk don't get. And part of this risk is also to lose money or to make wrong decisions sometimes. Just some thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. And I never regret about all of this, really. I mean, it wouldn't make me, then I wouldn't be me, This made who I am, actually. All my experiences based on that one, so it's all good. This is an expensive experience, both, but it's all good.
This is cool. So you made some gains, you made some losses. We don't have to talk about the losses right now, but like everyone else. Now I'm more interested to hear of like how you dive deeper into Solidity and into the EVM. So you worked with Uniswap API and you learned about DeFi a bit, but you did it mainly in Python. But then one day you heard about Code4rena and you dived into Solidity and smart contract security. So you first dive into smart contract and EVM and security, or you first heard about Code4rena? What was the order of events?
Code4rena was the latest one, I can say.
The latest one. Okay. So what made you shift towards like Solidity and EVM?
Late 2020, I went on board, and it was a tough 10 months for me because I couldn't come back from the vessel.
Yeah.
And during that time, I said, okay, I never wanted to learn Solidity, but I need to know because people are really making nice products on that one. I mean, if Uniswap was, I was thinking even Uniswap wasn't Solidity, but later on I discovered like V1 is actually Python. Not the Python, but, so I decided to learn and I was on board. So I started to study on board. And it was difficult for me because I had a, 12, 14 hours work on board. And during the rest hours, I was spending my time to learn Solidity. And there was like 2 months, which we were in a dry dock in Oman, and the weather was like 50 degrees. And I was working all day long.
Wow.
Even as a captain, I didn't have to go, work physically, but just to check the things, makes you have 20,000 steps a day. So even at nighttime, I was working that one, and it was the all Solidity, not even the version 08. I utilized that one, and when I came back, I said, okay, I will just learn it properly. And I checked YouTube videos, and the most famous YouTuber, smart contract programmer, I watch all his videos. Even if I didn't understand, I watched and tried to understand. Especially these flashbot sites. I didn't understand what flashbot mean that time, but watching that one anyway. And I completed all the videos, and I just tried to practice like writing a multi-signature wallet. Okay, it's working good. Remix is my best friend, something like that. I was thinking, okay, I can be a junior Solidity developer maybe. Now let's check some, job vacancies. And that was some kind of big, I can say, assumption, because there is nothing like a junior Solidity developer, right? I mean, you can be a trainee, but cannot be a junior Solidity developer even nowadays, because the nature of the work requires really some experience and some good skills, because you're basically relying on that guy to keep people's money safe. If we are thinking only on one way, okay, there will be many audits, there will be a team, but the main thing is that one, you should be relying on that guy. So I tried to find the jobs, and I saw one day Sherlock's job opening, and Sherlock was asking the applicant to show a rockstar performance in Code4rena. That time, I forgot about Sherlock job opening and went dive into Code4rena website, because this is basic ADHD, man. You just lose your interest and go another trade. And I saw Code4rena was a bug bounty platform, but then competitive audit platform. So yeah, contest. So if you send your findings, we will pay you. I said, no way, man. Who pays who in this time? It's people are rugging each other. So I just found a contest. I just made my registration, found a contest, send a gas report. Just simple line of gas report, like protocol should have used to customer, or so that they can save gas. And the great Alex, the judge, he accepted. He even commented on my finding, and I was paid like $3.38, 36 cents. I don't remember. Like 1 month later, and I said, this is working. And I will go deeper and see what happens more, because it's very interesting, because you are being assessed by your knowledge, and they pay for your knowledge. And who does that one, really? Normally they pay you for your experience, but for the knowledge, it's really rare situation. Like they're paying professors for that one, not the junior Solidity developers. So that's how I started Code4rena actually.
This is super cool. So yeah, in Code4rena, anyone that has skills and knowledge can come, give value to a protocol, report some issues, some vulnerabilities, some quality assurance report, and just get paid. No one is interviewing you, no one is checking you, and this is cool. And since then, we know that it's developed a lot. We have Sherlock, we have CodeHawks, we have Cantina, so many platforms. It's not that easy like it used to be. It was much easier when you started. Now it's much harder. The competition is higher. We have bot reports that automatically find all the low-hanging fruits. But these are a lot of things that if someone is interested, they can watch all the other videos on my channel to find how these systems work and tips how to succeed. But now we're going to ask you some tips and how it was back then. So you said that you just submitted a single quality report and you got like $10 or like few dollars. Obviously today it wouldn't happen, right? Today, if someone just going to go and submit something like that, it wouldn't be accepted. Can you explain why?
I mean, there are many reasons because people already saw this, like they can harvest all these QAs and gas. So, and it's raining spams, I can say. All these submissions are full of spams, and there is now GPT. That time there was nothing like that. Maybe I wasn't aware, but there was no AI, supported submissions that time, I can say. And you cannot give the right amount to the right guy thinking that the guy is really honest or something. And nowadays, people are so skillful and knowledgeable. They just fill the gap for many things. So in case you send one single line of submission, which is QA, it's considered to be a spam, I can say, or very low.
It's very low quality. Very low quality.
Very low quality. Very low quality. I mean, nobody will need that one. The sponsors will not need that one. But that time when I logged to that contest, I think there might be maybe 20 or 30 people. And even in 2022, May or June, I can say, there was maximum 150 people competing in Code4rena.
Wow.
So I was lucky to be there during that time. And I was even late, people, because Code4rena started in 2021. And it was kind of hurt like October or November 2021 by Securium, because Rajiv just announced 8 people just compete there. And many good guys also just entered the game in 2021, late 2021 or beginning 2022, I can say.
This is cool. And so you started by submitting like QA reports and gas reports. And then obviously you explored more the platform and you saw that the highest paying findings are actually the medium or the high submissions, the high severity critical vulnerabilities. These are the ones that get paid most, right? So how did you learn how to submit? Because eventually you submitted mediums and highs. How did you transform from submitting QAs to actual mediums and highs? And why this is super important question? Because these days, if people submit QA reports, they won't get paid usually because it will be covered by the bots that automatically find those QA reports, or the payout will be very, very low. So you need to submit either mediums and highs in order to get paid today. And things that the bot did not submit. So how did you shift from QAs to mediums and highs?
Yeah, good question. The motivation for me was trying to find some small glitches in Code4rena. So I was into gas and QA reports, but gas requires more knowledge. So I was not doing that one. So, and of course, I didn't trust myself. Even now today, I'm just questioning myself. Am I good enough for this protocol or something? That time I was nowhere. I mean, comparing today, and I continued to send to QA. But one day, I think one protocol using Diamond proxy, I said this is too absurd, man. This is too risky because it all depends on one address, and that's the pronunciation of centralization. Actually, I just sent this one in my QA report, like, okay, this kind of tricky, and it was upgraded to medium. I was so surprised that I could really find something in medium severity. Okay, this might not be medium today, but that time where you don't use transfer or transfer for very used, just very easy pattern. It was supposed to be or medium or even sometimes leading to high. And later on, I understand how people sending medium or high. So I said, okay, I will not try to be like harvesting QAs. I will just try to find this kind of stuff. And of course, I couldn't find easily because it was very difficult for me. Because first of all, I was not fully proficient in Solidity. Even now today, I can have hassles like in case you have like assembly, inline assembly, that you stop, okay, what does it mean? Like, okay, you have to make other way, you have to come from right to left now, something like that. And those time I didn't know very good Solidity, and that means I was not sufficient to understand the code base. So once I started to understand the code base, that time I started to submit mediums and highs. Of course, none of them, majority of them was not accepted because it was either QA or either I was inflated or it was a false positive or I was totally invalid. And it took me some time to understand why they were not accepting until I received the backstage access. So once I received the backstage access, it was an enlightening moment for me because you were seeing what people were submitting, all the big guys, how they were thinking, and why the judge is not, validating your finding, and judges, just writing some comments on that. So it was a learning stage for me. And after that point, I said, okay, unless I am, forced, I will not send any more QA because QA should be some kind of good things, but I was not doing that one as well. Just to show something here, actually, I'm not a good example to be a good warden, but I'm a good example showing how you should not be doing the things. I mean, if you do the things right me at the beginning, you will lose time. And if you don't have, feelings or passion like me, you will lose it anyways. So luckily I have the passion to learn and I just continued.
Okay, this is interesting. So you started shifting from QS to mediums and highs. And did you see like any progress? Like, okay, so the payment, the first audits, you got a few dollars, then hundreds of dollars. What was your biggest payout? Do you remember?
Yeah. I remember my progress. It was kind of fun actually. So once I started to understand the code bases and providing my assumptions, sometimes they're assumptions, and they were validated to be true. And many times I was in top 10, top 5, top 3. Many times I was second place.
Oh.
And it increased from $100 to $1,000, later on $3,000, $5,000, $8,000. And these were my best days actually until I have the operation. I have a medical condition, and my top was $13,000 just for some kind of bridge protocol. So it was known to be a solo medium. So it was, if you have solos, you are having this much amount actually that time.
Yeah, the solos are the one that pays the most, and
definitely.
I think the shift one was the backstage when you started seeing other submissions and how people think and how judges react to submissions, and that's where your creativity also came out, and you were able to find those unique ones, the medium and highs that no one else finds, which pay the most. And then you had absolutely. Also a medical issue that obviously took you away from the keyboard and from contests. So do you want to tell us a bit about that and how it affected you?
Yeah, it was a bummer. I mean, I had a giant kidney stone. It appeared to be I had a giant kidney stone, and I fainted in the middle of the day. I was not aware even I was going to faint, Wow. I called an ambulance and fainted in the door, just at the entrance. And these paramedics they picked me up, and I went to the surgery the next day, and it brought all my motivation down because it was a painful period that time, and it took me like 3 months to recover back. And after this 3 months, once I returned, it was already 2023, I can say. Meanwhile, I tried to participate in some contest and I didn't do well there. Okay, 2-3 contests, I found some solos, but majority, it was not good, I can say. And once 2023 came, I said, okay, this year I will do good. But the 2023, I didn't do anything actually.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, your most like payouts were in 2022, and it's okay. You took a break. The contest environment changed. Also, the competition became higher, but somehow eventually you shifted from being a warden to being a lookout. So you're able to get the lookout job, which is has other responsibilities, and it includes also a fixed pay for every contest that you become the lookout of. So there is a judge and there is a lookout. So first, can you explain what is a lookout, what its responsibility, what are his responsibility, and how it's different from judge? And then this next question is like, how did you become a lookout?
Yeah, good question. Let me tell you how I became a lookout, because this is a little bit funny. Back in 2022, we were talking with 100 Proof regarding being a judge is, just a dream and respectful. And I said I will be applying for a judge apprentice, so that I really like to know having a shadow session. Sorry, and yeah, my boy. And I really like to know the insights of being a judge. And I applied for being a job apprentice, which is not in scope. I mean, there is no position like that one. And Code4rena team said, thank you very much for the application, but we don't have this kind of role. So see you next time for your next application for a judge. And once they implement lookout role, I think my application was, my application was that time accepted due to my stands in Code4rena, and I was accepted as a lookout that time. And of course, I applied one more time as being a lookout. So my intention was very clear. Like, I don't want to be judge, but I want to be a judge apprentice. So what lookouts does actually, we are receiving, like, Code4rena receives like thousand submissions in a contest. And if the contest code base size is a small one, it means anyone can read those code base and anyone can send anything. I mean, if they have time. So once we receive like 1,000 lines of 1,000 submissions, or 1,500, there should be some guy to filtering all those things first, spams, duplicates, and inflated ones, or some ones should be, some submissions which to be, upgraded, just referencing in the QA reports and delivering to the sponsor. So the idea is, contest is over and lookout takes care of all the submissions, filters all the low qualities, filters all the spams, AI submissions, and makes primaries and all these duplicates under the primaries. And 1,000 submissions shrink to maybe 100 or 80, 85 submissions. And this report goes to the sponsor. And the sponsor doesn't see the low quality. It is not low quality anymore. It's an insufficient quality report. So the sponsor is not checking. Is not. They don't see these reports. And they just check like 50, 80, all these primary submissions. So it just accelerates the process. And finally, they put their commands on it and they pass the report to the judge. And judge has the final say, and they can invalidate the sponsor. They can find a error, which I did, lookout it, and just upgrade the issue or duplicate the issue to another in case it's kind of mixed. We are all human. I do errors. It's not a secret or something. Every contest I make maybe 10, 15, maybe 20. One of the contests it was like 50, and I was so sorry to the judge, really. And finally, judge has the final say, and the repo is open to the backstage wardens, and everybody has some kind of comments in case they have. And they have they make the last validation and the payouts are sent, something like that.
So the process is like contest is over. Lookout is filtering the submissions, marking duplicates, filtering all the spam, aggregating it to smaller group of submissions. Then the sponsor look at it, give his comments if he confirms or not every single issue. And then eventually the judge is looking at the sponsor. He can contradict the sponsor or agree with the sponsor and has the final say. But also after the judge, there are also appeals. So if you have backstage access, you can actually appeal for the judge decision, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Wow, sounds like an interesting system and interesting process. I just got access to Backstage Code4rena recently, so I also looked at the Ethereum Credit Guild Backstage, and you were the one also that did the lookout. So I saw like all the tags and that you added, and it's very interesting because I participated in the contest. There are like a lot of I saw it's like thousands of submissions. It's hard work.
Yeah, 1,200. Yeah.
1,200.
I mean, I couldn't deliver it on time because it took me 8 days. Normally, lookouts have 7 days deadline, so you have to deliver the report in 7 days. And 1,200. Okay, this is I mean, this is not less. This is not so much, but it's considerable amount of submissions. And there was one contest which Bytes did it. He had like 2,100 submissions. And it was the worst one actually in Code4rena history.
Wow, which one was it? You remember?
Dopex, maybe.
Dopex. There were a lot of vulnerabilities there. It was a very not mature code base, I guess.
I'm not aware of that one, but it might be a painful pre-sorting process.
Yeah. Another thing that you didn't mention is that also that the lookout is judging the bot races, right? Right.
Yes. Lookouts are judging the bot races, which we are assigned to. And it was okay once you have 8, 9 bots, even 10 bots, but nowadays there are 20 bots. So all the slots are occupied. There are 20 bot slots and 20 bots. And in case you are having like 3,000 lines of code or 2,000 lines of code, the report that the bots are providing is thousands lines of reports. So it makes like 50,000 lines of report that we are actually reading. I'm reading those because there might be many false positives and the competition among the bot racers are so high because I can say all the bots are so sophisticated and they found a lot and they think really strange. I'm so amazed to read those bots as well. So in one day I have to conclude the report, and mostly I'm reading like 12 to 16 hours all these bot reports and concluding them. So it's a nice process, painful as well.
Okay, so how do you decide which one is the best bot and how do you actually aggregate the final bot? And it needs to be also very fast, right? Because it's something that happens before the contest starts. The bots are competing, they submit the report, and then you have like few hours or I don't know how much time until you need to do that, or one day.
Yeah, I need 1 day. I need to deliver it in 1 day. And as long once the contest starts, the bots have 1 hour time to submit their reports. So nobody knows anything regarding the code base. They just take this in-scope contracts. They just run some scripts. And of course, they have better insight. I mean, they have the insight. I don't have the insight what they do. And they just provide their bots. And how I conclude which might be the best bot, we just score them. I mean, there are some bots submitting critical issues, high issues, medium issues even. And I have to check whether they are valid or not because it might be false positive as well. So what I do first, I just read the code base, try to understand it. If it's a small one, it's all good. But if it's a large one like Ethereum Credit Guild, I mean, you have to read like 3,000 lines of code, understand the context, and to compare
very complex system.
Bots. Yeah, and you have to decide whether the medium severity is valid or not. That's kind of tricky, because sometimes if you have a false positive on one, it will be a false positive, and it will be they will be granted points for that one. That's the problem. Okay, if not, it's not a problem because if you accept one thing and that thing, the same thing is included in the other bot racers report, you will provide the same points to him anyway. So it's acceptable. But if in case you accept it as a valid one, and if they are being granted scores with this valid one, that's not good because you're just inflating the bot reports scores. And it leads to some place like the bots should be scoring more points and more points. And they might come with gaming the system. Like, okay, there are like, normally there should be 5 NatSpec issues, but they're just sending 20 NatSpec issues, which can be only shrink to 5 just to harvest the system. So, yeah, okay. I don't give any points to the, Solidity. What is it called?
Duplicates or multiple submissions are the same.
Yeah, they are the same. I even give penalties for that one, but I don't give so much points. Like lines are too long, or NatSpec issues, or constants should appear on the left side. All this Solidity related. I forgot the name. Sorry for that one. I don't give points.
Conventions, I guess, right? Conventions.
Not
standardization. I don't know.
I don't know. I forgot the name. There is a section in the docs, the Solidity docs, but I forgot the section name.
Okay, it's okay. So you give more points to like if they find actually mediums or highs or criticals, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
There's some kind of pointing system of like how much. And you can see also if it's unique, if just one bot submitted this medium and other bots did not submit it, he gets more points. But if more points detected the same medium, so it's same of like mini judging, but you just judge between bots that submit usually low-hanging fruits, not like the advanced vulnerabilities.
Yeah, correct. I mean, there is no certain rubric on judging the bot traces, but what we are seeking is fairness, really. I mean, if the guy has sent a good report, not overinflated or even inflated, and very less false positives, mostly they are the winners. Because once you start to penalize the bots who are overinflating or inflating or something, they have duplicates, they have something in the low, and the same with the gas reports, they are duplicates. It's true, but this duplicate should be removed. They are receiving penalties. And the penalties actually, they are the one to nominate the winner. Because as long as you have less penalties, your score goes high. And what I'm doing is, so far so good. If they send with medium, and the medium I score like 10 points, and it's set to be a false positive or inflated one, the penalty is 15 points, minus 15, 1.5 times.
Wow.
And the more you apply penalty, there will be better reports, I believe.
Wow, this is interesting. So there is some alpha here for bot race creators. Do you guys share those insights with them? Or are they like how to write better bot reports, how to improve their bots? What do you expect to see?
Yeah, many bot owners, they are contacting me. What I mean, where's the wrong part in my report? Can you please point out? So, I mean, I'm talking to them a lot in DM, but it was kind of cool when we have like 8-10 bots, but now 20. I don't think that I can answer all. Yeah, and there is no requirement like I should be answering all. But okay, people like to improve themselves. I am all in case you want to do something positive for this ecosystem. So I'm just replying nicely. In case I'm wrong, I am accepting my error also. One of the bot trace report, bot trace judging I made a mistake, and one of the bot tracers said, "Oh, you have a mistake here," and I accepted that one. And the next bot trace, I didn't do that one. It was a good catch for them and for me as well. So that's an improved system.
What I would do if I was in Code4rena, I would maybe create a separate channel on the Discord for all the bot races competitors and the lookouts. So there is a channel of communication and kind of education between the bot creators and the lookouts. And every time you find an issue or there is a question, all the other bot race developers can see this and avoid that. I don't know if this is something that you guys thought about or not, but just a suggestion.
People really don't want to share their, coding logic. Yeah, I can say they know all clear, and they are full of knowledge. They know everything. So only thing comes to the place where your coding skills actually speak a lot. there are really brilliant guys. Even there was no bot races before. There were bots in Code4rena, right? So these are the owners of those bots actually.
Yeah,
so really respectful guys. I really respect.
It's very interesting. They are leading the static analysis in smart contract security. You have Slither and you have different tools, but I believe that their code is the strongest in terms of finding vulnerabilities quickly. All these long hanging fruits, the ones that are kind of easier to detect. So it's interesting what will happen there.
Yeah, it is interesting, and it provides a good markdown file so that everything looks nice actually.
Yeah, definitely.
That's another thing. Yeah.
So as a lookout, do you have any tips for wardens, like how to submit good submissions that will not fall under the category of like insufficient quality or something like that?
I mean, none of us are perfect, English speakers, native speakers, something like that. But in case you struggle to pass the idea, what you're thinking that might be wrong in your submission, please use some tool, like even GPT works for that one.
GPT, WordTune, Grammarly, there's so many tools.
For all these grammar tools, use them. So that let someone to speak your ideas, not their ideas. I mean,
don't use GPT to find vulnerabilities, generate a report for me, and then submit this report. But come up with your idea and let it improve your English and the way you deliver the information.
Yeah, exactly. And what I suggest, first of all, linting is so important. So please use these 3 backticks and use the Solidity keyword so that it will be linted on the GitHub. I mean, when the lookout sees that report, it should be really colorful. For me, it should be colorful because I cannot understand black and white. So, I mean, it's like 1 week and nobody can do that one, right? Black and white reports. And what I suggest, the heading of your submission, please make it very short and concise, like funds might get stolen, or user fees will be stuck, or I don't know, if the contract will not receive it. Don't make user fees will be stuck due to fallback will be failing. Don't make the story on the heading.
Just the impact. The impact, one line impact should be the header. What's the outcome? What is the result of the issue?
Yeah, and the impact also, don't make the story here. Please, impact is loss of funds, loss of user funds, breaking the system, breaking the contracts. This short, concise impact.
Short and concise.
I always say that,
people are writing huge reports and they forget behind it there are lookouts and judges and human beings that need to read all of those. So be concise. You have an issue, you want to tell about it, tell what is the issue. Don't go all over the bush. Also with the mitigation, change this line of code. That should be fine. Be concise. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and for the description, I would suggest you tell the issue to the lookout or to the reader like they don't have any idea in blockchain. Start from the minimum, like this contract is using this fund, and the purpose of this contract is to provide this and this. This contract uses this function and this function.
It becomes very long, so it contradicts the previous tip. It contradicts the previous tip.
But description should be, long enough to make the things understandable to the reader.
So the title and the impact should be concise, but the description should be descriptive and very thorough.
You can make, very long, as long as you don't overinflate that one. And you better, pick wise words or, shorter words to make it understandable. And you just point the issue and you just make a scenario how the issue will pop up. So you call this fund and that code snippet. You call that function, that concept, and it will come from this one. Like a scenario of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And at the end, if you can make a coded POC, provide that one. And if that POC is so long or something, just put it in your gist, in GitHub, and provide the link of the gist, the private gist, so that nobody can, blame you like you did not. Yeah. And finally, recommendations in Code4rena. Recommendations is not a must, but it would be good in case a good recommendation comes.
Oh, really? It's not a must? I didn't know that.
you can say, I don't know. It's up to protocol choice, or this is subject to protocol owners or something like that. But you can say, okay, just remove this line, put this line, and you can make it a linted version with back takes with the diff.
Yeah.
And you can provide more. The worst thing in recommendations, if you provide a false recommendation, invalid recommendation, you can be penalized by the judge because of this one. So if the judge is in a place where two reports to be chosen as a primary, only for this one, your submission could not be the primary because you are giving some penalties due to this one because of invalid recommendation. Just to be aware of.
Yeah, so it's better to have a recommendation, but if you have invalid recommendation, it takes some points for you, and then you don't become the primary submission. And what does the primary submission gets?
Primary submission gets actually 30% more than the other submissions if they have duplicates.
Wow. Okay, this is interesting. Yeah, 30%. So,
yeah, that's a nice incentive to provide best quality reports actually.
Wow, this is a cool incentive. And how do you decide which one is the primary submission? Based on what?
Okay, during pre-sorting, I try to take the best submission, best narrative, concise, having a coded POC, linted nicely, and the POC works nicely. Recommendation sounds very concrete. And I try to make it the primary. But of course, the judge has the final say. Many times it say, okay, this is not the primary. The other guy's report is much more, sound or speaks better than this one. And he chooses the judge chooses that one. So it's up to the judge. But what I try to do is during pre-sorting in these features, it should be rich in content.
Makes sense. This is super cool. The insights from behind the scenes, from the lookouts, from the judges, from the backstage. I think this is very valuable for people that want to compete in Wardens, in general. So it's thank you for sharing those. So apart from being a lookout, do you do other things in the Web3 security space? I think in our previous conversation, you mentioned that you do security consultation as well. So how do you combine that with lookout, being a warden? What are you focused on these days?
Okay, these days, for the last year I've been mostly a lookout, not a warden. And in case I was competing in a contest, it was my last minute submissions, which is not true at all. And just, okay, I will submit this one, and it doesn't return you anything. I did that mistake and still making that mistake due to fear of missing out, And nowadays I'm not a warden a lot. Maybe I'm not competing. Being a lookout, I'm not doing that so well nowadays.
Why? What do you mean?
Had some kind of.
You're doing lookout.
Not frequent. I mean.
You're doing it not often.
Yeah. Not often. I mean, in 6 months, I was 2 times lookout.
Okay.
So this year I will try to minimize that role because I want to achieve my other goals. And I had kind of offers last year, being in a team of a token. What do you call it, man? Token project, and I am just recommending them what they might do, because this is an era of blockchains now. Everybody is deploying their own chain. 2017 ICO time, everybody was deploying their tokens. Now they are deploying their own chain. So in case they want to start their business in one chain, I'm checking what that chain might need, so that what the sponsors that the token project can implement in their code bases. And I'm also checking their code bases, and I'm trying to avoid some common pitfalls to be falling into. So that's my main role in these groups actually.
Cool. So you provide kind of advisory for crypto projects, token projects, protocols on not only security. You both audit their smart contracts and find issues if there are issues with the contracts, but you also give them insights regarding what features would be better for them to implement in terms of product wise, to add some value that does not exist in the chains. Also in terms of marketing. So you kind of combine your both background in DeFi and also Web3 security and give them like both roles in one package, which is cool. It's nice value proposition.
Yeah, very well said. Thank you.
Yeah. So you have a pitch for the next client that wants your service.
Thank you.
So how many clients do you work with currently?
So far, 2 only.
Two. Nice.
Yeah,
but
only.
It's cool because it's like you're a freelancer. It's kind of like being a lookout. It's like you have the freedom and flexibility, and you are providing your insights from your experience, from your knowledge, and you're getting paid for that, which is cool.
Yeah, true. Okay.
Yeah. And being a lookout, going back a bit to being a lookout, what kind of unique skills does it require? So if Warden wants to become a lookout, how can he become a lookout?
Okay. Sock drawer money, he has a say like everybody will eventually be a lookout, but not yet maybe. So in order to be a lookout, the skills should be, for me, there's no rubric on that one, but I mean, you should be showing solid experience on how you identify high and mediums or QA, so that in case you submit your submissions in the correct severity, it's definitely that you're not inflating, and it's definitely that you understand the severity. That's one thing, because I mean, during pre-sorting, you should be understanding like which is the inflated one, which is AI one, spam one, or which is really good quality, so that in case you provide good quality reports, and if they are found to be valid, and if they are not overinflated or inflated, if they are in the correct severity, and if you have a good rank in the leaderboard, I don't find any reason why you should not be a lookout.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, looking at the existing lookouts, they're really experienced guys. I really respect them a lot. And one of them already has become a judge.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the path, actually. I cannot be a judge. I understand, because I'm not competing anymore. But in case you dream of being a judge, unless you find like very concrete highs, solo highs, you can use that way to be, just as a path to being a judge. But of course, you have to show some, improvement in your Warden career, and just improvement in your lookout career, so that you should be, filtering correct things in the correct packages. So I recommend you provide good reports, and you hold a good position in the leaderboard and a good social profile as well in the Code4rena Discord server.
Mm-hmm.
That might work, actually.
It's cool. So let's organize it to a few tips. You need to be a good warden.
Yeah.
So you need to have some good results in the leaderboard. You need to know the severity system. Do not inflate your findings, because the job of the lookout is to assess if people inflate them or they're fake or not. This is 2. And also you need to be socially approachable. So you need to be involved also in Code4rena Discord server, because people might ask you questions. They want to also see that you're able to communicate with people, to be in a community, to contribute to a community. So it's very good tips. Thank you for sharing them. Yeah, and by the way, just FYI, yeah, Lookout comes with some benefits like fixed pay, and it's pretty close to the judge pay. So I'm just looking currently in the Opus contest. The judge is getting 9K and the Lookout is getting 6K, which is quite good for like 1 week of working. It's like $1,000 per day. Maybe it's a bit more, but it's still nice payout. But it comes with a lot of responsibility and a lot of hard work. You just described, you have to go through thousands of submissions. You have to go through 20 bot reports. You sometimes make mistakes, and it's a bit like disappointing for yourself if you're a perfectionist. And it's hard not to make mistakes, because you need to read so many reports and assess them, and you're not perfect. No one is perfect. So it comes with responsibility and hard work. Just bear in mind, it's not just cherries and blossoms. You just get fixed pay and that's it. You go home. It's like it takes time to get there, and takes time also to do that job. So I just wanted to add that. Okay, so now we are going to finish soon. So some final questions. I wanted to ask you first,
Sure.
what do you think about the Web3 security space? How will it look like in 2 years from now? Because now we have like auditing contests, we have private auditors, we have the auditing firms. So it's regarding everything, regarding the platforms, regarding the market, regarding the tooling that we have right now. How do you think it will evolve in the upcoming 2 years?
It's very difficult to dream such a feature in 2 years, because 2 years back I wouldn't dream today. 2 years back I wouldn't dream today like there will be many competitors, many security researchers with amazing experience, very clever minds. They're so sober, self-aware, everything. And in 2 years I'm expecting these kind of genius people to be more in the system. That's an optimistic dream maybe, but it happened until now. And in 2 years, I'm expecting that AI will be having more, weight in this space, because I know many companies, they are working on that one. I want to believe that they will never take over our jobs, but they're already started to do that one. So AI and brilliant minds combined together, it could be good. But on the other hand, in addition, there will be much more different technologies. Okay, who would come to an idea like today we might have like 2,000 networks, like 2-3 years back? I don't think so. I don't know what will happen in 2 years. Like, will it be Web 4 or Web 5 or Web 6?
Multi-chain and all these kind of things.
Yeah, it's like nested chains, chain inside another chain, like Cosmos, 2 times, 3 times Cosmos, something like that. So everything in common. There is one big, address holding everything together. Why not? But it brings everything. There's a trade-off, big trade-off, that one. I don't know people are willing to do that one. But in 2 years, I'm either optimistic, also pessimistic in this way, because the more it gets complicated, the more the money lost to the black hats is increasing. I mean, I can say they are one step ahead of us anytime, even 2, 3, 4 steps ahead. So I'm a little bit optimistic on that way. Pessimistic on that way.
Yeah. It's gonna be super interesting to observe the Web3 security space, and in general the Web3 space and crypto adoption, security. It's like super fascinating. Like, I think like we live in history. History, like we write the history and we live it at the same time. So I'm wondering how it will look like. But yeah, like you said, definitely we can see more and more professionals in the Web3 security space. And it also thanks to time and also to increase education, because more and more people shift from traditional cybersecurity, smart people, to Web3 security. And it's more reachable, I would say, than in the past.
Yeah.
And obviously it brings the competition higher, but it makes the whole space better and safer. And this is great. So what about goals? Do you have any goals for 2024? Apart from continuing with your consultation services, any other things that you want to do?
I think my goals in 2024 is just try to focus on auditing, because I'm not doing that for a long time. So I want to focus on auditing. And nowadays, for the last 3 months, I'm being hired by the companies to look at their clients' code base. So I'm just contributing to several companies concurrently. I want to continue that one. And if the time avails, I would like to come back to competitive auditing in Code4rena and try to make my best again. That's my goal, actually.
Stick to auditing. Cool.
Stick to auditing, yeah.
And maybe goal for Bitcoin for 100K. Let's hope.
Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting year for crypto in general, I think, with all the coming things, halving, ETF, adoption, RWS, and all the other buzzwords that people are talking about. Every cycle there is another buzzword. In 2017 it was ICOs. In 2020 it was DeFi and NFTs. Now what is it going to be? Multi-chain, RWAs, all these buzzwords. So it's interesting. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? I'm interested.
I don't know. Yeah, but RWA is a really interesting thing for me as well, because if it happens, I mean, really happens, it might change a lot because people really like to touch things, and they want to invest the things which they touch, like the gold or like the money, for currency. So in case they want, they can touch an NFT which can return me an RWA. That would be nice for the ecosystem.
Yeah, so
This
for
I want
people
to
who
believe.
don't know,
Yeah.
RWS stands for real world assets, and it means every assets that can be tokenized on the blockchain. It could be real estate, it could be gold, it could be US treasury bills that pay you interest, right? So this interest is coming back on chain to buy back and burn some kind of token, governance token, or whatever strategy you want to do. And this is cool because the yield is not based on Ponzi schemes or failed incentivizations, incentivizing users or kind of pyramid Ponzi schemes, but it's real yield that comes from real world. So if it's real estate, someone is renting the apartment and is paying rent. If it's like US Treasury bills, it comes from America, from the Federal Reserve, the money machine. So if it's gold, I don't know where it comes from, but yeah, like Bitcoin, it's like people want it. But yeah, this
the
is
goal
real
is
world
to
assets.
Destroy the fiat money. Yeah.
To destroy fiat money, to save, to keep your assets, because fiat money is just inflating all the time. But it's interesting.
The goal is that to stop printing money, actually.
Yeah, it used to be until Nixon decided not to give back for any dollar or gold in 1970 something, and since then our debt is going like exponentially higher of the fiat money in the economy. But it's very interesting finance and how it looks like in the world in fiat money and crypto and gold. And yeah, we're living the history, financial history in general, history of the world. So it's interesting.
It is.
Yeah. So thank you so much for putting the time, coming here, sharing your story, sharing your insights. I'm sure that this was super interesting and valuable for a lot of listeners. And I wish you the best of luck and amazing 2024.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you for inviting me, having me here. It was really fun to have talked to you. And I wish the best also in 2024.